This conference will now be recorded.
So guys, we will be learning some basics. What is you can say the basic difference between iteration and generation in Python, and how to construct our own generation, which is a kind of a yield statement. Now, generation will allow us to work with so many vivid functions. So, like, let's see one example related to this. Mm, so, generation of, or you can say generator function, generation function for the cube of numbers. The generation function for the cube of numbers. So I hope all of you know that the cube of number is power of 3. Am I audible to everyone loud and clear, like without any hiccups? Okay, perfect. The thing is, let's say define gen cubes and let's say for num and range and yield num. Yield is the name of the function and number, let's say 3. It's an inbuilt function. Let it execute. And let's say for an instance, for x in gen cubes, let's say 10, it will iterate till 10 actually. So basically it's a range function. We know it actually takes the element one less than the whatever number you put in. So let's say if I write print x, so this is an expected output. I hope I'll be just a second. I hope let me see what is the issue. Gen cube is fine. Just a second. Just a second, guys. Why it is populating this error? Just a second. Let me cross check. Sorry. Yeah. So this was the issue. I haven't plugged in anything. So, guys, are we all clear? So this is how a yield would come. Are we clear with this part? Are we clear with this part? So just a basic example. Okay. So the thing is, how does it work? Gen cubes are basically you are defining one function inside which you are passing through an element. Now for num in range n, so this n will uptake. See over here you are updating n in 2 times, right? So this n will uptake whatever the entry you will plug in over here. So this is actually referring to range of inside n. Okay. Now let's say yield number 3. So the result that you want is something like the generator that you want is something like this particular number which is going through each and every element of the range n will give you the cube of it. So that's why this is a iterator as a function I have applied for loop for x in gen cubes. For x in gen cubes, so you can see for x in gen cube, you can see this thing. While playing this output, so the result that is what we are getting is a cube till x. See the cube, this is nothing but you can say you can use it in variety of ways. See guys, the use it's there are so many use, like it will open your dimensions of writing the program. That is the main part. Okay. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? This will open the dimension of yours in vivid in programming. That is since we haven't delved into Python yet, sorry, this particular part, machine learning yet. So this is nothing but like this. Y will not print, but print Y, print I haven't defined anything as Y. So it will be printed like Y is not defined. We could have just do Y is equal to X cube. Yeah, but the thing is, this is okay. Let me show you some more output by which you can produce. How many of you know the Fibonacci series? First of all, let me know Fibonacci. So Fibonacci is a kind of a series in which the third number is the sum of the previous two numbers. Every third number is the sum of the previous two numbers. Are you getting it? Like, let's say if I type 1, 2, the third number is 3, the fourth number is 5, the next number is 8, the next number is 13, the next number is 21, and so on. So you can say 3 is the sum of 1 and 2, 5 is the sum of 2 and 3, and 8 is the sum of 3 and 5, 13 is the sum of 5 and 8, and 21 is the sum of 18 and 13. I hope are we clear with this part? I hope are we clear with this part. Now let's see this another example. Now creating a Fibonacci series. Okay. Now let's say define gen fibon maybe some Fibonacci like, and I'm parsing one number n. Let's say a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1. Now let's say for I in range, um, now a comma b, that's actually equal to b comma a plus b. I'll tell you why a plus b. Yeah. Now let me write for num in gen fibon print out. Um, always stop to like, let's say 10 Fibonacci. So you can see I'm getting this is a better way of writing the code. Now how the code works, earlier the input of a and b was 1 and 1. Now a is actually corresponding to 1, means a becomes the second element, and the next output is b is equal to a plus b. So b is updating itself as the sum of those two elements, like 1 plus 1, so b is 2. All right, now we know that b is 2, a is 1. Okay, b is 2, a is 1. Now a is 1, b is 2. Now a is b, actually, like this is referring to this part. So a becomes 2, b becomes 2 plus 1, which is 3. So you can see that's why you are getting initially 1 plus 1, 1 and 1, then 1 and 2, then 2 and 3, then 5 and 8, and so on. So this is how you can populate a Fibonacci series. Are we clear with this part? Are we clear with this part? Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, now let me show you some more output related to this thing. Mm, Now let's say if it would have been a normal function, so how the programming would be like slightly way like this is nothing but you can achieve the same task with the other approaches also, but like if you know the more use cases, so this is going to open your much more dimension. So that is what I'm stating. It's nothing new, but you can say, let's say if you are writing some program and you come across any particular concept which is alienated, so it will not look if you have performed the use case. Since we are not going into too much direction of the machine learning, we are much emphasize upon. So machine learning is actually related with like, let's say I'll be typing some code. So if I use any of the concept which you are doing in the Python programming, so will not look alienated to all of you. So that is the main agenda, right? So for I in range, mm, let's say output dot append. Let's say if you type A, and let's say A comma B, that's actually equal to B comma. Can you tell me what is the role of the append function? We have seen this. Yeah, where it adds append. Where does it add? The bottom or at the top? Add like end. Yeah, exactly at the end. Hmm, what's the issue? Okay, syntax indentation. No. Indentation error. I think this will now work. Yeah, this. Now let's say Fibon, type 10. So the output. What's the issue? Let me cross check. Make sense? Make sense to everyone? So guys, this is a kind of, you can say, another approach, but in this I haven't used yield. Instead, I have used normal approach. See, this is a basic syntax for writing Fibonacci series. So this is something like uh, A, let's say A is 1, B is 1 initially. Now A is updated itself as what is the value of B, and uh, B is actually A plus B, so it will be updated as 2. Okay. Now after that, we know that A is 1 because A is equal to B and B has become 2. But we know that A is equal to B, so in a nutshell, A will be 2 and B would be the next number, right? So B would be equal to 1 plus 2, which is 3. So B is right now is 3, A is 2. Now A is updated itself as B, so A becomes 3 and B becomes 3 plus 5, which is 8. So this is how this keeps on updating itself. I hope makes sense. Actually, I have written that in for this is by mistake. Actually, I was about to write in that particular section. I hope makes sense. Okay. So this is another example. We are see guys in this particular course, we are going to use so many use cases. So the use case will actually tell you like what kind of Python programming is required in like the vivid industry. So this is what we are going to do. Now let's refer to some more cases. Let's say if I use for simple gen, let's say if I type for x in range 3, okay, yield x, okay. Hmm, that's not working. Mhm. Yeah, that's fine. Now let's say your g, now that's equal to uh, now print next of g. I'll show you. See, so can you tell me till what number it will keep on printing itself? Till what number it keeps on printing? 100, 99. That's correct, Vicky. Because always remember, range always takes one number lesser to that. Range always takes one number lesser to that, right? It works in this way. Okay, now let me show you another example. Let's say if I type s is equal to hello, a kind of fun option. Like why we are doing this actually, I'll tell you one thing. Let's say if somebody gives you a capstone project, so there might be a little task that may require this approach. Like a particular capstone project is actually accumulated with a series of small tasks. So one task can be this, like you need to populate some numbers. So if you have this approach, so that will give you the idea, right? So this is an iterator. Yield is a generator. This is an iterator. Okay, so that is the basic difference. It because the things are iterating over some part. Now let's say if you see this example we did for I in X. So this is a number. This is a S is what? Number or something else? Like what do you define an S? What is the typecast of an S? Type of a S. Guys, can you tell me the type of S? String. So let's see iterator, how does it perform for the string? Hmm, so you can see it is throwing an error because strings object are not iterable. Are we all clear for this? Okay. So strings are not iterable, but this means that a string object support, but that does not mean that it does not support the iteration. We can use one function. So let me show you how does it work. Let's say if you write s underscore iter, and that's equal to iter s, and iter is this particular function. So let me see, does it give any documentation? Yeah, so you can see generate an iterator for an object. In the first form, the argument will supply its own iterator or be a sequence. In the second form, so second form is Sentinel, which is like a very advanced module. So we'll talk about that. So let's say if I write s over here, now initially it was like non-iterable. Now let us take for this module s underscore iter, and let me plug in inside the next. So it will be iterable as per the elements. Stop. Error. Make sense? Make sense to everyone? Guys, are we clear with this part? Let me know if anything is unclear or not clear. So these are some actually rule of iterators and generators. Although like you know this module as a just kind of a part of some use case. So it may be required in some cases. So that's why we are going to use this. Now the next part that we are going to do is one library which is called as DateTime module or DateTime module, that DateTime library, and we are going to work on it. Now DateTime works on a variety of ways. So let's say if I import DateTime, so basically it is generally used to work with the hours, minutes, seconds, and microseconds. This particular library. So DateTime is very popular library in Python. So import DateTime. Let's say t is equal to DateTime DateTime dot time. Let's say if you plug in 4 comma 20 comma 1. Okay, print. Okay, let me show you some set of numbers things. Let's say print t, and let's say print r t dot r. Now let's say print hours. So after the hours we got minutes. Let's say t dot minutes, and let's say after the minutes we have this second, not minutes, it's minute. Let's say after this, let me do this part. And let's say microsecond. T dot microsecond, and let's say Okay, let us run this particular part. Just a second, what is the issue over here? Invalid syntax. Okay, just a second, guys. I think all should show me the invalid syntax only. I think now they should work. Yeah. Are we all clear with this? Like you're passing some argument. Now this is actually telling 4 hours, 20 minutes, 1 second, 0 microsecond. Now let's say if you insert another argument, see the output. Are we all clear with this? This is a date time module. This is a kind of a date time module. Are we all clear with this part? Now let's refer to one more example. It's a use case actually. It's quite simple, yeah. Very simple. Santosh, I'll tell you, like people generally have fear of learning programming. Now, if somebody falls into that portion, so it's better to start with Python. It's the one of the easiest language. It's the earliest, latest, and let's say in the latest you type date time dot max, and let's say if you type print, let's say resolution, and again I'm doing the same mistake. Comma is very important. Date time dot time dot resolution. Yeah, replace not resolution. Hmm. So the earliest time is this, the latest time is this, and this is the resolution. Are we all clear with this? Are we clear with this part? Like the minimum time, the maximum time, and the resolution. Guys, are you getting it? Like what I'm trying to state? Okay, so this is something related to this part. Now, resolution is like you can say the difference, like what you can say earliest. If you like, you can see the difference between earliest and the latest, or latest and resolution gives you. You can say that latest and the earliest will be responsible for the time change. So this is a kind of a time change. Like what generally there is an input in the machine. So like a thousands, 10,000s of 100,000s of the microsecond. That is what the resolution is. Are we clear? Are we okay? Perfect. Now let's talk about something more interesting. Like let's talk about something related with dates. Mm, let's say today is equal to date time dot date dot today, print today, and let's say this is an interesting print. C time. Today dot C time. Okay. Let's say if I type print tuple comma today dot time. These are all possible modules. Let's say the next part is ordinal. Today dot ordinal, and this is like and let's say this is month, and let's say this is today dot month. Let's say this is something related to today dot day. Okay. So this is the best way to define a time date module. So you can see what is date today is. We have 8th September 2020, and you can see what is the day, Tuesday, September. So this is like some more information given, and tuple, this is the structure of the time, 9 month. Okay. Hour, that's the time. Minute, ordinal, like it will give you like what value exactly in minutes. Year is 2020, month is 9. Tuple, like 8 is 8 some words, like the time. Ordinal is actually referring to, you can say, I'll show you, like over here you can refer today dot it should populate in Python. Just a second. Okay, they haven't defined much onto this. This is something like this. It's proleptic Gregorian ordinal. January 1 of year is day 1. So this is actually referring to like from where the date has been started. I hope are we clear with this part? Are we clear with this part, Santosh? What about Santosh? Okay, so this is something related to this. Now let me give you some more examples. Okay. Okay. Now let's say time ranges. Date time dot date dot minimum and print latest that's equal to date time dot date dot maximum. Now let's say print resolution and date time dot date dot resolution. Yeah, so resolution. So earliest date, latest date. Okay, but like what computer will take here 999. Resolution is 1 day. Okay, so this is something related to that. Are we clear with this part? Are we this part? This portion is clear to everyone? Okay. Now let me portion another example that will give you another section, and I mean to say it will give you some more example related to this. So we can also perform some arithmetic to the date operation. So but before that, let's see one more example. Now let's say date time dot date 2015 comma 3 comma 1. Let's say 11. Now let's say print d1 comma d1. Let's say if you write d2, that's equal to d1 dot replace. Let's say I want to replace it to 2020. Print d2 actually what this do the replace function will do, it will replace the year 2020 to 2015 to 2020, right? Are we clear with this particular part, guys? Are we clear with this part? Like there are several functions. So datetime module is like so let's say if you work with the timestamp, so this is a really great module. Even some libraries like NumPy also have some inbuilt functions. So this is another thing. So now this is my D1, this is my D2, and let's say the good part is if you type D2 minus D1, this gives you us the difference in days between the two dates. Now we can use the time data to specify various units. Are we clear with this? So this actually gives you the difference between the dates of both the parts, right? Both the okay. Am I audible? Hello guys, am I audible? Yeah, actually I'm using Bluetooth. Earlier I was using the wired one. Now Bluetooth sometimes have little issues sometimes. Okay, guys, I'll tell you like all these modules are like really important. because the functionalities are vivid, right? So these all, let me rewrite this to this particular file as uh, now let's talk about something related with another module. Now this is something you can say related with the math library, math and random modules. Are we all clear with this? What we have discussed so far? I'm placing the error as it is because that will give you the idea. How can we extract the error? Okay, I think this particular module, date time delta. Let me recall this. How does it work? Time delta. Hmm, date time. So you can see, as I was mentioning earlier, so difference between two date times values. All arguments are default to be 0. Argument may be integer or float. So different between two date times. So what exactly, like, I'm not sure, like, what you want to say, like, what is the basic difference between 2 years? That is what you are asking. Like, how can we extract the difference between years? That is what you are stating. You want to say that how can we extract the difference between 2 years, right? So see, the difference between 2 years, just subtract the years, we'll get the difference. But there is something, see, what is the difference between 2015 and 2020? I think you can do the modification. 1827 can be, these are something like years, days, and you want to say something like this? I have to cross check for that. Like, there is also one module. I'll let you know. This is a good question. I'll cross check this part. Um, Year with year can be done. You want to say this many days, this many years, this many days, this many hours, this many years, right? Okay, I have to cross check for this. Like, I haven't. I have to cross check. These are very simple. What I've done. I have to cross check for that part. I'll let you know. I'll mark up this particular question. I think NumPy can be done. Time delta is one module. I have to cross check for this part. I'll let you know for this. Okay. So let's do another module which is related with. I'll definitely give you the answer for this. Math. So let us import math. Now math, this is a very powerful module. I'll show you like some what are the things you can do. Now let's say guys, this is one thing which import math. Now let's say if you want to look into the functionality of the math, so you can refer to this function help. The help will tell you like what are the things the math module can give you. So can you tell me what is 10h? It is hyperbolic tangent, right? Are we all clear with this part? Like, let's say if you import any library, you want to see the functionality, the documentation. So you can just type help, and you will be populated with the all the documentation related to that particular library. So you can see the math library is really powerful because like you can see you can do so many stuff. Like you can understand, if you can understand some mathematics, like exponential can be done, factorial can be done, um, some iterable, some gamma function is also there, is close is there, is in is finite is there, so is nan, and so many things are available. So this is really a very powerful library. Are we clear with this part? Now it's a like you'll enjoy this module. I can bet on that. Mm, let's say if you introduce on the code cell, let's say if you type value is equal to 4.35, and let's say if you plug in math.4, if you type value, so we'll be getting the integer part. Okay, it not the integer part. Let's say I'll show you. Yeah, so basically the lower value, right? Now let's say if you type math.ceiling, ceiling, it's SCE, huh? Yeah, sorry, this one. So what are the two integer value does 4 and 5 lies? Can you tell me? Yeah, exactly. So it will give you the 5. Good. So this is something. Now another function which is having the same functionality. Let's say if you use round value. So 4.51 will be rounded to 5. Now let's say it is 4.50. Uh, it will be rounded to 4. So if it is 4.51, so it will be rounded to 5. It is 4.5 something, it will be rounded to 5, right? If it is 4.5 and lesser than that, it will be rounded to 4. And if it is something like 4.5 plus, it will be rounded to 1. Sorry, the bigger number, like which is 5. So let me cross check whether this works or not. Now, guys, you can see this thing. Just a sec. Mm, I think I have to cross check this. This is hardly working. Can you see this? Like it's been rounded to uh, 4 decimal places. Now let's say if I type, well, it will be rounded to 12 decimal places. So you can also adjust the rounding part. Okay, make sense? Make sense to everyone? Now, guys, the thing is, uh, can you tell me what is the value of pi? What is the value of pi? So that is the actual answer. 22 by 7, it's an approximated value. So actual value is 3.141592653589793. So this is the exact value. Now you might have seen exponent also, e. So what is the value? What you know, like e value, like exponent, right? This is a universal exponent, so it has some value. Can you tell me the value? Okay, so it is 2.7, but this math function will give you a like really good result. Okay, now let's see some. Guys, do you remember that part, like what we used to do in our classes if you had the maths? So anti-log of anything is that number. Like let's say log of anti-log of it will be the power, the base actually. Yes or no? Uh, I think there will be little problem for doctors. Just a second, let me share you the screen. Mm, So let's say if let me give you an example. Let's say if you type log of base 10, so 10 raised to the power something. So guys, what will be the value for this? 1. This is actually like what power should I insert in 10? Okay, what power should I insert in 10 in order to get 1? So just like a fill in the blanks question. So what power should I introduce in 10 in order to get 1? So it will be in order to get 10, sorry. What power should I introduce in 10 in order to get 10? So the answer is 1. So this works the same way, right? This is a basic, you can say very crucial concept. This is a very crucial concept. Now I'll show you how does it work over here. Now this logarithmic, or you can say like, let's say if you type math dot log math dot e. So this is as good as, see, this is a natural log. Natural log, anti-log is always e, right? So that's why you are getting 1. Makes sense to everyone? This is one concept. If you are having issues, so I'll show you how does it work. Now math dot log, and let's say if you type 10. So it will give you the log base e to the power 10. Log base 10 to the power 10. That gives you this value. That's a natural log actually. Okay, natural log, not a. Yes, yes. See. Natural log takes e as the base, whereas log base 10 is different. You have to understand both these situations. Natural log will take e as the base for sure, but when it comes to uh, calculation, we generally take 10 as the base. If you remember, e generally is the natural log space. Yeah, that's correct what you're saying, right? I hope, are we clear with this? Okay, so another example you can see in this way. Custom base you can also do. Let's say if you type math.log and if you type 100, 10. So this is log base 10, 100. That's value is 2. Now log base 10,000 would be 3. So this is the exact value. Like what we know as 3 is an approximated one, right? I hope. So this is, they are actually calculating all these values from the log table. Make sense to everyone? So you can change the base also. Let's say if it's 5, so this will be the answer. This I cannot tell because I do not know how does the log5 base works, but if I have the log table, I can tell you the value. So are we all clear with this? Now there is also random module is also left. We'll talk about that later, right? So guys, are we all clear with this? So this is it. I'll be starting with the random module. Also, we will be starting with this I module, trigonometric module. Okay. Date time is clear to everyone. Date time, iterators, generators. So let me save this file. Yeah. Okay. So guys, let's call it a day then, if it's clear to everyone. Okay. Let's call it a day.